Hello there and welcome to Namident Academy. Today, I would like to discuss about admission requirements for graduate school. Admission requirements for graduate school can vary differently based on the institution and the program. But in general, there are some common trends or common requirements that many graduate school required from their applicants. Number one requirement is bachelor degree. It is an important requirement that is required from applicant to a graduate school to get first degree from a recognizable institution in a country. Some program may specify a minimum GPA requirement, and this is in general between 3 to 4 in the scale of 4 on the scale of 5. And hence, it is very important for students who are currently considering for graduate school, or even if you are not considering to do graduate school, to try as much as possible to get a good grade, because you do not know what in future you will like to do, and hence trying to get a good average can help you to be able to get admission into a graduate school. If you have not seen my video on the importance of GPA, you can check in the link above there, and maybe you can watch it later. The second requirement is universities want to know the progress of their applicants with time, and hence they require applicants to submit their post-secondary school transcripts. And these transcripts, they usually want the official transcript. So in some institution, they will require you to upload a official transcript, or to make your former institution to submit, to send them directly to them the official transcript. This transcript is used in evaluating your progress and your academic qualification, your strength, and other stuff. So these transcripts also are somehow the historic of your performance whilst in the undergraduate or post secondary education. The third requirement is standardized examination. This is an exam that is set by a third body, and normally in some countries these exams are linked with the governmental institutions. Aside your GPA and also your transcripts, this is also a very important examination. In some countries they don't require this document, and those who require this document, some of them require it to be able to know your performance aside the university education. One of the popular standardized examination for graduate school is GRE, which is Graduate Record Examination, and is mostly those who want to study in America and some countries in the Arab world and other region outside Europe. They require this kind of standardized examination, GRE. Depending on your field also, some engineering bodies do have their own standardized examination. In the medical field, some medical organization or government have this kind of standardized examination for the person to require it before getting higher education or graduate education. And this kind of exam is a structured form and exam that requires a lot of studying. You have to learn the technique and the tactics of passing the exam, because it's a time-bound examination. So you can start learning this form of examination very earlier before. So you need to prepare very well for this examination. The fourth requirement is recommendation letter. Mostly 2 to 3 recommendation letter is required from applicants, and that this letter, it should be written by your university lecturers or professors or employers or anybody who know you professionally or academically that can speak about your success, how you can succeed in your academic studies. So it's kind of a guarantee to say that I know this guy, this is how he is, and that guy can able to finish this program successfully in the allocated time. Reference letter or recommendation letter is very important part of graduate admission, and hence you should be very careful who you will require them to write this letter. When choosing people to write you this recommendation letter, find people who know you very well and who can write very strong recommendation letters for you. The fifth document is statement of purpose, or in some application they call it motivation letters. In some application they call it letter of intent. It has several different names. So the most important part of this letter is that you are going to write about your motivation for seeking this graduate course you want to pursue, and how your previous experiences will permit you to be able to successfully finish this program that you want to pursue in the graduate school, and how does this program you want to pursue align with your future plan, with your future career. And that this letter mostly is 2 or 3 pages depending on the program and the level of your experience. And writing these essays is also very important, and a lot of investment has to go on. It's not just sitting and writing, but you have to really program and structure the letter very well, that you know what you put in the introduction, what to put in the body, and also the conclusion, so that the search committee or the admission committee can consider you for admission. The 6th required document in graduate admission is what we call the resume and the CV. Mostly in academics or in graduate school, CV is much recommended, because the resume is much summary, shorter than the CV. So in this resume or the CV, you give summary of your major achievement, of your publication, your academic history, your activities. It's just summary of your life academically, professionally, where you have worked, which volunteer service you have offered up to the time you are applying for the course. So it will help the admission committee to understand you beyond the certificate you submitted and beyond the statement of purpose you've also submitted, for them to look at how qualified you are to be able to successfully complete the program you are aiming of persuading. The 7th point is the writing samples. So in some graduate school, you'll be required to write research proposal as part of your admission requirement. In some humanities and social sciences, you'll be given maybe a topic to write about, so that they can know how the level of your academic writing and your level of academic thinking. And so generally, if there is this requirement aside the statement of purpose, either you are given a topic or other ways for you to write, it's also important part of the admission requirement, especially if the graduate course program you are going to apply is a research oriented. So if it's a research oriented, you are highly probably will be given for you to write something about research proposal, what you are thinking, and so consider that also very important part of the application requirement, and try as much as possible to write it very professionally and very good. The eighth requirement is what we call the portfolio. This applies to some either in the arts and the architecture field and the planning field, that you'll be required to showcase to what you have done previously of art or some kind of design or some kind of sample of your work. This is typically of art and social science stuff. So you'll be required to submit this kind of thing. And also this also might be during interview. So that brings us to the ninth requirement, is that if you are selected among the few people to be interviewed, then you'll be required to do an interview. And this post-COVID era, the COVID has come to us with blessing of these online meetings and online interviews, that you are given a time, allocated time, and to appear before camera and have an interview. So you have to prepare for the interview and be able to successfully pass the interview so that you can get the admission offer. So aside these 9 points requirement, there are some programs that require prerequisite courses. So when searching for a program to read or at the graduate level, carefully read all the requirements, because if there are some programs that require you to have taken some course during your undergraduate level, it's very important. If you don't have those courses that they require, like the prerequisite courses, then you'll be required to take a preparatory course. So in order not to take preparatory course, you should have these courses, especially if the program is kind of a continuous sort of something from the undergraduate. And also in some program, let's say you have read earth sciences and you want to pursue your graduate education in geophysics particularly. So what it requires is that there are some prerequisite courses. If you have not taken these prerequisite courses, you'll be required to take a semester or 2 as part of your graduate education to take those courses and get a credit. Then you start your actual graduate education. So this applies to most programs, especially if your undergraduate education is a bit different from the graduate education you want to do. So you have to bear in mind that you will spend some time to get a credit to pass those prerequisite courses to be able to continue. If you don't want that, then maybe you don't have to choose those programs or those institutions, but search for other institutions. Second prerequisite requirement sometimes is the language. Depending on where you want to study, they require there's an instruction language of the program you are going to pursue, and that if the language of instruction in the undergraduate education is different from the language of instruction in the graduate education, you'll be required to get a certificate, a specific level of language. For example, if suppose that your undergraduate education is in English language and now you want to go to another country which is also in English language, that one they may require some letters from your institution, your undergraduate institution, that may state that this guy has taken these courses in all English, so he doesn't need, he has get this high level of this language, and then therefore you will not require those certificates. Other than that, there are some standardized language education that you are required to take, and bear in mind some of them, they have the limits, the level that you have to get. So there is this language requirement that you have to consider, and that might or may influence which country you want to go. If you think that learning new language is a challenge to you, don't go and force yourself in those language that you can't do and then become frustrated. So choose your graduate school accordingly. The last point I have is consider the admission fee. In some institutions and in some countries, there is admission fee that you have to pay before your admission is processed. You understand? You have to pay, and some institutions this fee is high. In some institutions or countries, the fee is very low, and in some other countries and institutions, they have no admission fee requirement there. So consider all those things, and also, if possible, before you submit, depending on your financial strength, before you submit your application, try to see that what is the cost, or what is the fee, the tuition fee and other costs of graduate education. Then you figure it up. Is there, or will I get some kind of financial assistant there to be able to finish my school successfully, or can get some loan somewhere. So in that regard, if you have not watched my video on financial assistance to students, you can check up there and read about it. Okay, so this brings me to the end of this video. So what I have as a conclusion statement is that each program or graduate program have unique requirements. Therefore, you have to clearly evaluate these requirements individually to clearly understand it and be sure that you have qualified for the requirement. You have the document that you want to submit for the requirement. In future videos, I'm going to tackle the individual requirement here one after the other to explain in detail what you need and how to get those documentation and much information about that. So if you have not subscribed to this channel, do well to subscribe to the channel, especially if you are in a graduate school, or you are a researcher, or you are interested in knowing things about graduate school and research and academic. I encourage you to subscribe to this channel and follow the videos and watch the videos. If you have any comment, you may write your as a feedback. Thank you for your time, and see you in my next video.